Hey there, Gen Xers. Feeling a bit lost in today's fast-paced world? You know, with all the thingamajigs and whatchamacallits? Like when I was a kid, we had rotary phones and had to use the card catalogue at the library. Now, kids have these phones that are smarter than both of us combined. Don't worry, we've got you covered. We're all in this together, trying to figure out how to send an emoji, or what a TikTok even is. It can be overwhelming, but you know what? We're Gen X. We invented grunge, we survived the 80s, we can totally handle this. So buckle up because we're about to embark on a hilarious journey through the modern world. We'll laugh, we'll learn, and maybe, just maybe, we'll teach those millennials a thing or two. This is your ultimate guide to navigating the modern world, Gen X style. All right, let's talk social media. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ellen, isn't that just for teenagers and those influencers who talk about makeup for hours? And you know what? You're not entirely wrong, but it's also a way to stay connected with your family and friends. See pictures of your adorable grandkids, and yes, even share those hilarious memes you love so much. First up, we've got Facebook. Think of it like your high school reunion, but online and happening 24/7. You can find old friends, share pictures of your cat doing something ridiculously cute, because let's be honest, we all do that. And join groups dedicated to things you love, like that band you saw in concert back in the day. Just remember, what you post on the internet stays on the internet, so maybe skip sharing that embarrassing story about your college roommate. Next, we've got Instagram. This one's all about pictures and videos. Think of it as your own personal art gallery, but instead of landscapes and still lifes, it's pictures of your lunch, your dog wearing a funny hat, and maybe the occasional sunset. Oh, and don't forget the filters. You can make yourself look 10 years younger or even turn yourself into a puppy dog. Who doesn't love a good puppy dog filter? Now, Twitter, that's a whole other animal. It's like a giant cocktail party where everyone's shouting their opinions at the same time. It can be a little overwhelming at first, but once you get the hang of it, it can be a lot of fun. Just remember to use your indoor voice, or in this case, your indoor typing fingers, and then there's TikTok. Okay, full disclosure, this one still kind of baffles me. It's all about short, funny videos, and it seems like everyone's doing it, from teenagers to grandparents. I even tried it once, but let's just say my dance moves are better suited for the privacy of my own living room. But hey, that's the beauty of social media. You can pick and choose what you want to use and how you want to use it. The important thing is to connect with people, share your life, and maybe have a few laughs along the way. And who knows, maybe you'll even teach those youngsters a thing or two about what real viral content looks like. Remember those chain emails we used to forward? That was basically the original going viral. All right, folks, let's talk tech. I know. It can feel like every day there's a new gadget, a new app, a new something or other that we're supposed to know how to use. It's enough to make your head spin faster than a record on a turntable. But fear not, my fellow Gen Xers, because I'm here to tell you that you don't need to be a tech whiz to navigate the modern world. First things first, let's talk about smartphones. These things are basically mini computers that fit in your pocket, which is both amazing and a little terrifying if you think about it too much. But don't let all the bells and whistles intimidate you. Start with the basics: making calls, sending texts, taking pictures. You know, the things we used to do with our old clunky cell phones, except now it's in high definition and with emojis. Speaking of emojis, can we talk about those for a second? They're like hieroglyphics for the digital age, and I'll admit sometimes I feel like I need a decoder ring to figure out what they mean. But hey, that's half the fun, right? Just remember, a little emoji goes a long way. You don't want to be that person who sends a novel's worth of emojis in every text. Now let's talk apps. There's an app for everything these days, from ordering food to finding a date to tracking your sleep. It's enough to make you want to throw your phone out the window and move to a deserted island. But before you do that, let me just say that some apps can actually be pretty darn useful. Take online shopping, for example. Remember the days when we had to actually get dressed, leave the house and fight crowds just to buy a new pair of shoes? Those days are long gone, my friends. Now, you can order just about anything online and have it delivered right to your doorstep. It's dangerous, I know, but also incredibly convenient. And then there are streaming services. Remember cable TV with its limited channels and outrageous prices? Well, say goodbye to all that, because streaming services are here to stay. You can watch movies, TV shows, documentaries, even stand-up comedy specials, all at your fingertips. It's like having a blockbuster video in your living room, but without the late fees. So, yes, technology can be a bit overwhelming at times, but it can also be incredibly useful and even fun. Just remember to take it one step at a time. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and never, ever respond to an email from a Nigerian prince who needs your bank account information. Trust me on that one. Chapter 3, feeling good, staying fit and fabulous after 40 or 50 or 60. Okay, let's talk about feeling good, because let's face it, we're not getting any younger. Remember when we could pull an all-nighter and still function the next day? Yeah, those days are gone. But that doesn't mean we can't still feel our best. We just need to make a few adjustments, like actually getting a full night's sleep and maybe cutting back on the caffeine after 2 p.m. First things first, let's talk about exercise. I know, the mere mention of the word can make you want to crawl back into bed and hide under the covers. But trust me, it doesn't have to be a chore. Find something you enjoy doing, whether it's walking, dancing, swimming, or even just chasing your grandkids around the park. The important thing is to get moving and keep moving. And speaking of grandkids, they can actually be great workout buddies. They have endless amounts of energy, which can be exhausting, yes, but also incredibly motivating. Plus, it's a great way to bond with them and create some fun memories. Just be prepared for the inevitable sugar rush afterwards. Now let's talk about food. Remember when we could eat pizza and ice cream for every meal and never gain a pound? Yeah, those days are gone too. But that doesn't mean we have to resign ourselves to a lifetime of salads and tofu. It's all about balance, people. Indulge in moderation, but also make sure you're getting plenty of fruits, vegetables, and lean protein. And don't be afraid to experiment in the kitchen. There are tons of healthy and delicious recipes out there that will make you wonder why you ever ate junk food in the first place. But it's not just about what you eat, it's also about how you eat. Slow down, savor your food, and pay attention to your body's hunger cues. And put down those phones. Eating should be an enjoyable experience, not something you do mindlessly while scrolling through social media. And finally, let's talk about stress. Life can be stressful, there's no doubt about it, but it's important to find healthy ways to manage stress, whether it's through exercise, meditation, spending time in nature, or simply taking a few minutes each day to just breathe. Remember, self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. So make time for yourself, do things that make you happy, and don't be afraid to say no to things that don't. You deserve to feel your best, both physically and mentally. Chapter 4. Money matters, planning for the future and maybe a vacation or two. Okay, let's talk money, honey. I know it's not the most exciting topic, but it's important, especially as we get older and start thinking about retirement. Remember retirement? Sleeping in, traveling the world, finally having time to pursue our passions. Well, we need to make sure we have the funds to do all that fun stuff. First things first, let's talk about budgeting. I know, it sounds about as fun as a root canal, but trust me, it's essential. You need to know where your money is going each month so you can make sure you're not spending more than you earn. Remember those little envelopes we used to use to divide our cash? Well, there are apps for that now. Next up, let's talk about saving. I know what you're thinking. Ellen, it's hard enough to make ends meet, let alone save money. And you know what? You're right, it's not always easy, but even setting aside a small amount each month can make a big difference over time. Think of it like this. Every little bit helps, like finding a $20 bill in your pocket, except you planned it. Now let's talk about investing. I know, this is where I start to lose some of you. Investing can seem intimidating, like something only those Wall Street types understand, but it doesn't have to be complicated. There are tons of resources available to help you get started, like financial advisors, online tools, and even books and podcasts. And speaking of retirement, have you started saving for yours yet? I know it seems like a lifetime away, but trust me, it sneaks up on you faster than you think. Start small, increase your contributions over time, and don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. And finally, let's talk about something a little more fun, spending. Yes, it's important to save and invest, but it's also important to enjoy the fruits of our labor, right? So go ahead, book that trip you've always wanted to take, buy that new gadget you've been eyeing, or treat yourself to a nice dinner out. You deserve it. Chapter 5. Work-life balance. Finding your zen in a chaotic world. All right, let's talk about finding balance in our lives. Remember when we were younger and thought we could do it all? Work, family, friends, hobbies, we were like superheroes. Well, it turns out even superheroes need a break sometimes. First things first, let's talk about setting boundaries. We Gen Xers, we're known for our strong work ethic, but sometimes we need to know when to call it a day and step away from the computer. Set realistic expectations for yourself and don't be afraid to say no to extra work or commitments that will leave you feeling overwhelmed. And speaking of feeling overwhelmed, let's talk about stress management. Life is stressful, there's no doubt about it. But it's important to find healthy ways to cope with stress, whether it's through exercise, meditation, spending time in nature, or simply taking a few minutes each day to just breathe. Now let's talk about something a little more fun. Hobbies. Remember those things we used to love doing before life got in the way? Well, it's time to dust them off and make time for them again, whether it's painting, gardening, playing an instrument, or simply curling up with a good book. Make time for the things that bring you joy. And finally, let's talk about the importance of connection. Spending time with loved ones, whether it's family, friends, or even our furry companions, is essential for our well-being. So put down those phones, step away from the computer, and make time for the people who matter most. Remember, life is a marathon, not a sprint. It's okay to slow down, take a break, and recharge your batteries. You'll be amazed at how much more productive and fulfilled you'll feel when you prioritize your well-being. Remember, it's never too late to learn and adapt. We may not have been born with smartphones in our hands, but we're a resourceful bunch. We invented the internet, for goodness sake. So go out there and embrace the modern world. You might even surprise yourself with how much you enjoy it. Stay tuned for more tips and tricks to help you thrive in the modern world. We'll be covering everything from online dating to home automation to the latest slang that makes us feel ancient. We're all in this together, remember? And who knows, maybe we can even teach those millennials a thing or two about how to rock out to some classic vinyl. Thank you for watching a Gen Xers guide to navigating the modern world. And be sure to leave a comment below and let us know what modern-day challenges you're facing. We hope you found it insightful and enjoyable. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Stay awesome, Gen X.